Hello student, today we will see new poem. Title of the poem is Upon Westminster Bridge. Page number 82. Upon Westminster Bridge is written by William Wordsworth. First paragraph. William Wordsworth, born on April 7, 1770, was a major English romantic poet who was an honored poet laureate. Poet laureate Rajkavi of the United Kingdom in the court of Queen Victoria from 1843 until his death on 23rd April 1850. He is a leading English nature poet. His collection of poetry, lyrical ballads, is considered as the central work of Romantic literary theory. The poem Upon Westminster Bridge is one of the best examples of his romantic poems. Upon Westminster Bridge is a patrician sonnet in which William Wordsworth describes the beauty of the bridge as seen at dawn from the Westminster Bridge, London. Dawn means pahat. The then world had to still experience the Industrial Revolution. The poet was enthralled by the panoramic landscape, beauty, calm and quiet nature before him. This poem was first published in the collection of poems in 2 volumes in 1807. In this paragraph, this is nature poem. William Wordsworth was born on 7th April in 1770. Wordsworth was an English romantic poet who was an honored poet laureate of the United Kingdom in the court of Queen Victoria from 1843 until his death on 23rd April 1850. The poem Upon Westminster Bridge is one of the best examples of his romantic poems. In this poem, Wordsworth describes the beauty of city and nature. Upon Westminster Bridge is a Petrarchan sonnet. Petrarchan sonnet has 14 lines. First 8 lines are octave and 6 lines sestet. The poet described the beauty of the bridge. This poem was first published in the collection of poems in 2 volumes in 1807. The octave has the rhyming scheme ABBA, ABBA, while the sestet has CDC, DCD pattern. Wordsworth uses personification to bring alive the sun, the city, and the river. This is the Petrarchan sonnet with the complaint in the octave and a resolution in the sestet. Now, dear student, we will see each line one by one. Upon Westminster Bridge. First line, earth has not anything to show more fair. More fair means more beautiful. This is an example of hyperbole. Second line, dull would he be of soul who could pass by. This is an example of inversion. A sight so touching in its majesty. This is the example alliteration. In this line, the first 3 lines Wordsworth describes beauty of London city. In Upon Westminster Bridge, the poet is crossing Westminster Bridge into London. During early morning, Wordsworth describes the beauty in front of him in the poem Upon Westminster Bridge. Next line. This city now doth like a garment wear. Doth means Old English word, new word does. This is an example of personification and simile. Simile in this line direct comparison between the beauty of the morning and a piece of cloth. In the next two lines, he says the city wears its silent beauty like a garment. Wordsworth says there will not be more beautiful scene on earth than one before him. Only someone who is very dull would ignore such attractive sight. The London city is a quiet, not yet awake, and feels to sparkles in the clean early morning air. The city is covered by the morning beauty as a garment. Next line. The beauty of the morning silent bear. Sheep towers, domes, theatres, and temple lie. Open unto means to the field and to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. Smokeless air means air is without smoke. In this line, the beauty of the morning silent bear. Sheep towers, domes, theatres, and temples lie. This is an example of alliteration. In this line, man-made structures, its sheep, towers, domes, theatres, and stands out bright and glittering in the clear air, and the sky is beautiful. Next line. Never did sun more beautiful steep. Steep means to covered with. This is an example of inversion. In this line, the sun rays falls on the structures. They shine brightly and glitter in the clear, pure air means without pollution. Next line. In his first splendor valley rock or hill. Splendor means adornment or decoration. In this line, this is an example of personification, and the poet describes the beautiful early morning, sun shining its rays on valley and hills and rock too. Next line. Never saw I, never felt a calm so deep. This is an example of hyperbole and inversion. In this line, never had the poet seen such a shining sight as this, or felt such a deep peace. Last line. The river killed at his own sweet will. This is an example of personification. Dear God, the very houses seem asleep. Fairy houses seem asleep means all peoples in the world are asleep. And all that mighty heart is lying still. Mighty heart, sakar झोप. The river guilt means flow, at his own sweet will. Example, personification. Dear God, the very houses seem asleep. Example, personification. And all that mighty heart is lying still. This is an example of metaphor and personification. In this last line, the poet described the city of London without noise, the city glittering in the clean, smokeless air. The river Thames flowing slowly under the bridge. The river Thames glided on slowly under the bridge. The people in their house are asleep yet, and collectively their hearts rest quiet. So student, I hope that you will understand each line of upon Westminster Bridge.